Mixed martial arts has the ability to create moments of pure drama and excitement. When Holly knocked out Ronda, when Diaz choked out Conor, or when Randy Couture returned from retirement to win the heavyweight title. On the other hand, however, it has also produced its fair share of boring, laughable, or downright embarrassing bouts and moments. Well, let's take a look on top 10 worst fights in MMA. Number 10. Kiyoshi Takamura vs. Aliyev Mahmoud. This fight from Pride 29 took a weird turn after a low blow that occurred a few minutes into the bout. After a delay to allow Mahmoud some time to recover, the fighter from Azerbaijan appeared to wave.
视频前的你，如果在男性持久力、勃起硬度等方面不满意，现在就加郭老师微信358-163-379，让郭老师帮助你持久坚挺，延时20到40分钟，补肾壮阳，延时助勃。增强夫妻性生活，28天彻底告别快男软男，做回自信的自己。记住微信358-163-379。
Number 9. Mark Coleman throws fight in Pride. Mark Coleman has more or less admitted to taking a dive in his fight with Nobuhiko Takada at Pride 5. While we know other fights in Pride were fixed as well, this one carries particular significance. Coleman had been the UFC heavyweight champion, though he had since lost the title. Takada was a famous professional wrestler and an executive behind the scenes at Pride.
No, he's giving it, what the hell? Oh, no. Coleman's got to pull, he's got to get out. He's got to get out of this. No. There's no, what? Wait a minute, he's oh
no! Number 8, Anderson Silva vs. Dale Wage. When Anderson Silva's career is over, little attention will be given to a period from 2008 to 2009 when many were labeling Silva as a boring fighter. Fights against Dale Slage ire from Dana White and MMA fans from being boring, with Silva mainly counter-striking and fighting for a decision. The fight with Leitch is considered the worst of the worst during this period of Silva's title reign. Neither fighter seemed interested in engaging, with Silva making more of an effort to taunt Leitch than to attack.
Might not happen again. Silva might have been taken down for the last time in this fight. Not sure what it was, but it connected.
Number 7, Frankie Edgar vs. BJ Penn III. From about 2007 to 2009, BJ Penn was an elite-level fighter, but things fell off dramatically following his loss to Frankie Edgar at UFC 112. Since the end of 2009, BJ Penn's MMA record is 1W, 5L, 1D. Penn hit his early 30s and just plummeted. Penn came out of retirement to coach opposite Edgar on The Ultimate Fighter, and they would face each other in the series finale in July of 2014. Penn looked far worse than he did in either of his previous losses to Edgar. He looked stiff and uninterested in engaging. It was as if he was just looking for a paycheck. It was hard to see a legend have fallen so far.
So Edgar still content to just pick his spots here against BJ Penn. A couple of those right hands, though, landing with conviction. But these significant strikes piling up for Frankie Edgar. Tonight's Corner Cam is brought to you by Harley-Davidson, the only motorcycle.
Number 6, Maynard vs. Guida. Clay Guida is generally thought of as a fighter that will knuckle up and throw down. A blue-collar guy who just goes in there and fights. The fight was in the main event of a show in FX, and Dana White would later be quite critical of Guida's new style of fighting he brought to the bout, one that involved frequent stalling and running away from his opponent.
Obviously we saw some of your tweets about the main event. If you could just kind of expand a little bit on your thoughts on how things went down.
The fight sucked. I don't know how to expand on it anymore. I mean, it's one of those situations where I think that, a guy like Guida, his style, is to move forward, and I think that's the style that's made him who he is, the style that's made him a fan favorite and won him fights. I think that you can't, nobody can win or lose a fight when a guy is running around in circles. He was literally running.
Number 5. Ken Shamrock versus Royce Gracie III. At Bellator 149, Ken Shamrock was 52 years old and Gracie 49. While both fighters looked to be in pretty good shape for their age, many were critical of the promotion's willingness to put fighters that age in the cage. Turns out it didn't really matter, as just minutes into the fight, Gracie accidentally hit Shamrock low, the ref missed it, and Gracie capitalized for the win. As bad as this fight was, however, it wasn't even the worst on the show that night. Number 4. Kimbo Slice versus Ken Shamrock. A young and agile 51-year-old at the time, Shamrock sloppily took Kimbo Slice to the ground and attempted to choke him out. Unfortunately for Shamrock and everyone watching, his ground game has decreased considerably since he hit the half-century mark. Kimbo managed to get back to his feet and promptly earned himself a first-round KO victory.
He have any arm strength left. And Kimbo's out. Slice back to his feet and unloading with the right hand. It was all Ken Shamrock, now all Kimbo Slice. Drops Shamrock and they're...
I don't like that clinch, that long clinch that they had where they were mouth to ear. They were mouth to each other's ears for
and
a
no one was really
fucking
striking.
time.
Number 3. Shamrock versus Severn II. Ken Shamrock makes his third appearance on this list. He is not completely to blame for this one, however. UFC 9 almost didn't happen because of a rigorous lobbying effort from Senator John McCain, who felt the sport was human cockfighting. Only a court order earlier in the day allowed the event to go forward. However, fighters were sent an instruction from the court that they were not to hit each other with closed fists. Most fighters ignored this instruction, but Shamrock was worried how his image might be hurt if he was arrested. Shamrock and Severn then proceeded to have what many called the worst fight in history of the sport. Number 2. Ben Rothwell beats up a kid. How this fight was allowed to go on is anyone's guess, but it appears that Ben Rothwell's first ever MMA victory came by beating up Chunk from Goonies. Okay, it wasn't the kid from Goonies, but it might as well have been. Rothwell entered an amateur MMA tournament that was open to anybody apparently. His first round opponent appeared to be a rather large young man who had a death wish. Despite obviously being in no condition to do anything the least bit athletic, the kid did not give up and kept fighting even after it was clear that he was outclassed. He never bothered to take his shirt off though. Fighters who do that rarely win.
He's not. Somebody fucking let their kid get beat up pretty much is all that happened.
Number 1. Kimbo Slice versus Data 5000. Joe Rogan called this fight the worst he had ever seen, and it's hard to disagree with that sentiment. Both fighters seemed to gas out instantly and then spend the rest of the fight looking like they were throwing punches underwater. Finally, Data 5000 could no longer stand up and Kimbo Slice was declared the winner. Sadly, what started out as slapstick comedy turned into tragedy. Data 5000 had to be rushed to a hospital where his heart was stopped for a period. Well, it was a compilation of the top 10 most worst fights in MMA by Top Fights. Let's take a look at some honorable mentions.
Now watching Royce take the mount position. And that's exactly where the jiu-jitsu man wants to be.
He just tapped out.
Just tapped out.
Did he?
He's gonna come right across the ring at Kerr.
热度上。
Clinch here, I suspect.
Seem to be having a lot of emotional problems in this fight. Like Kerr is just basically beating him.
He does it because he's the one who's bleeding right now. That doesn't necessarily mean, he's beating him, but he's doing all the damage. He's doing the punching. What did he do?
Okay. It looked like did Kerr surge forward, and does Hugo think, was it a headbutt? I'd like to see a replay.
No, there is nothing
happened to him.
Look at him.
Is this an act or is this real? On the ground, Hugo on the bottom, in the guard.
Oh, he didn't walk away.
Yeah, walk away. Just back up, man. He threw a punch and the guy went down. I mean, this is not good.
That's it. That's it. This is how you win.
Now he's sick of this.
He's gonna be angry, yeah. But if he gets angry, that's it, man. It's gonna be over. Trust me.
Yeah, well, that's what's happening. He's really starting to put a beating on him now, and Hugo's trying to jump out of the ring.
And he has his eyes closed.
I really don't think Hugo wants to continue. It's like he just wants to give up. He's no.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Oh man, now Kerr gets angry. No, not in the guy. It is because. Listen, this guy is a tough guy.
Look at this. He's trying to escape. The fight's over. He doesn't want to fight. He just doesn't want to fight.
Thanks for watching Top Fights. Don't forget about like and subscribe for more MMA content.
Girls go round the outside, round the outside, round the outside.